There has been a roadblock that's really been hit in the trade negotiations between the United States and China, and it's because of Huawei. They say no face-to-face meetings have taken place. Can you describe where things stand right now and what your assessment of the situation is?
Well, my first comment is don't believe everything you read in the press. My second comment is Ambassador Lighthizer and I have a call scheduled for later today with our counterparts. This will be the second conversation we've had. There's been discussion at the staff level. I think we're working under the direction of President Trump and President Xi from the meeting in Osaka, and we'll see where we get. Assuming that we continue to make progress, I would expect Ambassador Lighthizer and I to travel over there to have an in-person meeting. But as I said, we have another call scheduled for today, and we'll see where we get on that call.
In terms of what not to believe, though, what should we not believe? Are you referring to the Wall Street Journal article from last week that said that you had been pushing people to go ahead, pushing businesses to go ahead and agree to sell things to Huawei?
Well, we've been very clear, and we've gone on the record saying that absolutely wasn't the case. As I've said, I speak to lots of CEOs daily. I speak to lots of people about trade in general. I've sat in on certain conversations with Secretary Ross as an accommodation with industry and others, but these decisions are fully within the Commerce Department. And as the Commerce Department has made clear, they're considering exemptions that don't impact national security. But no, in no way have I ever been encouraging companies to do one thing or another on this. And, I wouldn't say that that's the sticking point in the trade negotiations. So there are a lot of complicated issues. I think, as I've said before, we had made a lot of progress. We're trying to get back on the path to a lot of progress. And Ambassador and I are working closely on that plan.
Mr. Secretary, over the past several months ahead of that last meeting with President Xi and President Trump, Secretary of State Pompeo had traveled the world and talked to many of our allies and encouraged them, or rather, I should say, discouraged them from doing business with Huawei, calling them a security threat to their own countries and ours. To the extent that we get back into some form of business with Huawei, what do you tell our allies?
I think we've been clear that from a whole-of-government approach that we have concerns about Huawei being in certain infrastructure, and I think we've been consistent with that. That's a different issue than whether every single product that's being sold to them creates national security issues or not. So I see these as two independent issues, and we've been consistent on both paths.